Hello! Thank you for tuning into this week's reads. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them, of course. That being said, for the main part of the read, I'm using Gilded Tarot Royale by Chiro Marchetti. And the text is by Barbara Moore. If you need to freeze frame to see the spelling, I understand, definitely. I knew the website a minute ago, and my brain said, forget that information. I want to say it's llewellyn.com. Here, I'll just show it to you. It's there at the bottom. I just can't read it at the moment. So hopefully it's focusing on camera. If we get a little closer, it gives you some social media links too. So feel free to check that out. I want to say it's Llewellyn. I could be wrong. Oracle cards, spellcasting oracle cards by Flavia, Barbara, and Lisbeth. That's how you spell their names. Website on the back that I always notice is shewhoisart.com. Feel free to check that out if you would like to. I think there's a couple other ones on there too, so I'll move it up so you can see anything you want to see. And I use dice. I use a 22-sided dice for the major arcana. I substitute 22 for 0 for the Fool. And then I have a 14-sided dice for the minor arcana and a 4-sided dice to choose the element to match up with the minor arcana. They're from here. The math, I think it's mathartfun.com. Hopefully you can see that website if you want to. I think it's mathartfun.com. All right. That being said, if you would like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and let's get into your reading. Hello, Aries. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Aries? Slower energy. My first thought is the tower is slowly falling. Like it's slowly falling. And it's kind of like there's a lot of like lack of movement. No, what is this? Where does this go? You got the 3 of Swords going on here. I just don't know where it goes. So it makes me wonder if it's like it feels like a hot potato. You know how you play hot potato? If this feels like hot potato to me. Like sometimes it's you, sometimes it's somebody else. I feel like we're trading this around. It feels like hot potato. It really does. Is somebody trying to like dump on you a little bit? I keep getting a tower. The tower is here, but everything seems to be slow. Everything seems to be going very, very slow. And it's kind of like, is this tower going to really fall? It seems like it's falling very, very slowly. I'm questioning like what's going on with this. Because it is falling apart. And it's kind of like, it should, right? I'm waiting for it. I'm watching it. It's going really slowly. It's just like, oh my god, can somebody just push it over? Like, come on. Like, it feels like it's almost like slowly sinking to the ground and just kind of slowly going. It's like, just fall already. It's very slow process, and it's kind of like, okay, and there's decisions being made. Currently, there are decisions being made, but it's like there's more yet to come in, and I'm waiting for the rest of this to come in. That ship in the background is interesting. I don't usually read the 2 of Pentacles that way, but it's kind of like I feel like there's more that's coming. I think there's some deception here. I think that's what the issue is. Like, what's really going on here? I feel like there's some deception. Ace of Cups reversed and the Devil reversed. So the Ace of Cups, when it's reversed, that's the lack of devotion. That's the lack of caring about other people. That's very cold-hearted moves. Somebody just doing things just because that's what they want. I also get the lack... the Devil being reversed is like just people just untying them things from things that they just don't want to be a part of anymore. It's kind of like the devil reverse makes me feel like I don't want it and I don't care what happens to it, so I'm just going to get rid of it. It's almost like somebody like burning a house instead of selling it. It's kind of like I could have sold it, but I took too much time, so I just burned it to get rid of it. It's kind of like that makes no sense, but okay. This is not. I don't like how this energy feels. There's a very elitist or secluded or like I feel like there's this group of people that just either I don't want to be a part of or I can't be a part of or something like that. It's either you're a part of it and you don't want to be, or I can't get close to it. This energy is like I feel it's very like tight knit. I don't feel like the decisions being made make sense even. The empowerment has to be more for you. I feel like they're saying if this is a job situation especially, I would recommend taking some time off and just like this reminds me of like taking a day off, but like personally just not letting people know that I'm taking it off. Like maybe there's a park you like, or maybe you want to read a book, and just like taking some time off and going to like do something that you like, and then like I don't think it'll be very long. For example, if you're reading a book, say you're going to a park and you're just gonna sit there all day and just read your book, maybe go grab some lunch somewhere and just come back to the park and just keep reading your book just so you're left alone and you can do what you want. I do feel like this subject is going to creep into your mind, and they're saying when that happens, have some way to like write down your thoughts, where it be electronically or physically written, and just kind of like start sifting through like what's real here and what's not. What have you seen play out? What are people telling you? How do people treat you versus what they're actually doing? So like somebody could be very nice to your face, you know how that goes. And then once you turn your back, whatever they said they'd do for you or whatever goes right against you. I feel like they're saying take some time, step back, sort this out without people being right in front of you, so that you can like work this out, figure this out for yourself without other people telling you what they want to tell you. Just what have I seen so far versus what they said was going to happen versus what did happen. What do they really have control of? There might be one of those levels here too, where somebody says a lot of nice things to you, and maybe they do mean it, but they can't do anything about it. It's kind of like somebody saying, "Oh yeah, I'm going to get you that house. That house is going to be yours. I'm going to make sure that house is yours." And they don't have 5 cents to their name. And it's like, exactly how are you going to make that happen? But okay. They may mean it. They may want it to happen. They may think they can make it happen, and they just literally can't. We got to look out for that too. So this is how you're going to empower yourself. Well, if this reading hits for you, this is how they suggest you empower yourself. If it's not a work situation, it is something else, family, friends, social group, whatever it may be, you want to take some time off from that connection respectfully, however that works for you. So be it a family thing and you're just like, well, from the time I walk out the door to the time I walk back in that door, I'm always busy. Like whenever I'm home, I'm always busy. I don't have time. There's no way for me to step away from it. Either plan something, like if you walk out the door to a job and you come back, and like it's when you're at the job is the only time you have away from that. Plan something where people can't bother you. Take some time off from that job. And literally, maybe this is the thing, going to a park. Maybe go visit a friend, maybe go visit a family member to where people think you're helping them or whatever you're doing, but where they can't contact you. Just like, oh, my phone's going to be off. I'm going to be upstairs in the attic, so we're not going to have reception. Whatever. You need to separate yourself away from the situation so your energy can settle for a minute as much as realistically possible, so you can kind of delineate what's really going on here. If you have a confidant or somebody in your life that you feel like you could trust, that you can talk these things out, that is a good sounding board for you, this is a good time to connect to that energy too. Because I feel like what they're saying is like the truth needs to come forward. And they're also saying whatever the situation is, you want to lighten this load. I keep looking at it, that's what I'm talking to, so just in case you're wondering. So if you lighten your load, you'll get clarity about what's really going on here, so you can make a decision that suits you. It's about seeing what's really there. with the energy, if the energy keeps moving, even though it's moving slowly, if you can't get away from it, even though it's moving slowly, it doesn't allow you that moment to just kind of clear your mind and go, wait a minute, whoa, wait a minute, what is actually happening here? Because again, especially if you have people around you who actually do believe in you and do want you to have things, but then you step back and it's like, oh, yeah, they want me to have things, but they don't have the power to do that. I feel like I've had managers like that, where they're very nice and they want you to have stuff. And they're like, we're going to make this happen, we're going to make that happen, and it just never seems to happen. They're not lying, they just don't have that power. They just don't. And it's like seeing them for that. It's kind of like, that's nice. You like that, you want that to happen for me, but you have no ability to make that happen for me. Seeing people in that light, it's kind of like, all right, I like them, they're nice to me. If they could do that, they would do that, but they clearly can't. Seeing it for the truth that it is. Are we good? We're good. Because I feel like I have some Aries placements. And I feel like I've called people out for like, kind of like, well, you clearly can't, you say you want this to happen for me, but it didn't happen, so clearly that's not true. It's not that it's not true, it's that they don't have the ability they think they do. Just me looking back on my own life, like there's probably a couple people that I probably said some things to that I probably shouldn't have, because it's not that they didn't want things to happen, it's just they didn't have the ability to. So, and maybe they thought they did, and they just didn't. I don't know. You decide for yourself what you need to do. What is this? This is where your value comes in. Because when I can see the truth about what's really happening around me, not about people, it's not about people lying, it's about people thinking they can do things that they can't. I feel like that's a big piece of this. It's about people thinking they can do things that they can't. And when you see that, you can construct this where you need to have it. The trick is, once that happens, it's not to look at it like, oh, great, I'm stuck, there's nothing I can do. Don't look at it that way. This may seem like this is splitting hairs. It's kind of like, whatever I'm doing here, we can get along well, I can get along well with these people, but they don't have the ability to bring me where I want to be. So it's this difference of viewpoint. It's like the same situation, but instead of looking at it like, oh, I'm just screwed, I can't move ahead because they can't help me. Instead of looking at it that way, going, okay, this situation, they can't help me move ahead, so what do I need to do to move me ahead? That's the difference with this, because they're giving this confidence. Instead of looking at it like, oh, they're insufficient, so I'm screwed, kind of like going, oh, they would like to, let me see if there's something I can do for myself. Maybe there is something they can, maybe when it comes to something they can help me with, I know that I have their support. Maybe when I create my own possibilities, they can back me up on this. So if I'm going to look at this like a job situation, they say that they want to promote me to this next level. They don't have the ability to really improve that. Maybe that's something HR can do, but they can't, whoever these people are. Okay. Instead of looking at that like a wah, I'm screwed, looking at it like, all right, let me see, what does this next job entail? I want that job. Here's a couple of requirements. Let me take these tutorials. Let me build up my resume. Let me do this and do that, and let me go for that interview. And when I go for that interview, asking the people who want this from me, can you put in a good word for me? It's not, they don't have the decision power, but they'll back me up and they'll put in a good word for me. So I'm using that to my advantage, but I'm kind of like, I'm taking the reins on this chuck wagon, taking the reins of the horse, whatever. I'm driving it forward. It's going to be through my own efforts, and just maybe like they're like, oh, I have some extra oats here. You can feed this to your horse when they need it. Here's some extra oats. That'll work. That's all you can do for me, but at least you can do that. Also, it might keep you from burning a bridge, because if you're mad, I don't know, some of you might get angry when you see what this person really can do versus what they think they can do. That might trigger some of you. This might be a way to kind of mediate that out to where you maybe don't rip somebody's head off. Because they're not lying, they're just maybe delusional. There's a difference. I know it may sound like it's splitting hairs, but like delusional versus lying is two different things, in my opinion. I'm not saying either of them are good, but like if somebody's telling me something and they really do believe it, they're just in another world, that's different versus somebody saying a flat out lie to my face, trying to manipulate me to do what they want. To me, that's a different thing. It depends how you feel about it. And I feel like when I'm looking at this, like, I do have some Aries placements. It's kind of like, oh, you look crazy. Like, oh, yeah. That I have a different type of, like, I don't like it, but I'm like, I look at it a little differently if that seems genuine. I feel like I look at that differently. It's, more bees with honey than vinegar. You know how that goes. I'm sure y'all have heard it. More bees with honey than vinegar. You need to keep some good connections here. What's this? Friendship. The Three of Cups is a friendship card. Literally, this is a friendship card. There's more options for you forward. The more people you can keep on your side, the easier the road is ahead for you. And I feel like that's what they're trying to say. Like, this situation, you have possibilities. You're going to have to forge your own way ahead. But when you have support from people who like you, it does make it easier. People could actually have benefits that you weren't thinking they could do for you. But, like, okay, we stayed in good connection. We stayed in good energy. I don't know. There's a word here. I didn't burn the bridge. I can still cross the river. That's, you know what I'm saying. I feel like y'all, that this is going to hit with, you know what I'm saying? Because it gets very frustrating when you're like, I thought this was going to be in the bag, or I thought this was going to go my way. Then I'm realizing this person never had that ability to actually help me. If we can keep in good energy with that, in good commerce, I don't know. I try to stay friendly with it as much as possible. I feel like they will have the ability to assist, they just won't be able to lead you forward. They will be helpful down the road. There are people who, they just don't have as much ability as they'd like to think. They just don't. And, like, when that moment comes where they can assist you, that can be very, very advantageous to you. They're just not going to lead it forward. They can assist. That's what I keep getting. I feel like I'm splitting hairs, but I'm like, later on you might get stuck. And, like, if this bridge has been burned, you're gonna stay stuck. If this bridge has not been burned, they'll assist you and help you move ahead. It's just assist, though. They will not lead you. They won't have that decision power to actually open the gate, but they'll help you get the code that you need. They'll help you get the information to lift the gate. There's possible they don't have the abilities they think they have, but they do have some worth. I don't know. I feel like it's gonna either hit or it's gonna flop. Whatever this is, if this reading is hitting and you know what it's talking about, I feel like you're either gonna be like, all right, I know what I'm gonna do, or you're gonna do what you have to do. You're gonna do what you need to do. I know that, but they're saying if more bees with honey than vinegar. That's all I'm saying. It depends how you view it. You got to do what you got to do. Are we good? Yeah, I think we're good. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching, and you have a great day.